RHO had some work on it this week from deer hunting. Look at the front skid plate here. We're hitting some corn stalks going and recovering a deer. We got a bunch of marks. That's not a big deal, doesn't hurt it, but it's what it's made for. If you have one of these trucks and you use it off road, it's kind of stupid. Hey guys, Barry at CTech-review. Today, I'm gonna take you on a little journey of my thoughts on the 2026 Ram 1500 RHO. It's not perfect, it's pretty good, but I wanna kind of talk about the good and the bad and some of the takeaways and some little differences I've noticed versus the 2025 model. Let's get into this. All right guys, what do we got here? We got an IceCo VL90 Pro cooler freezer. We got it plugged in right now to the bed utility group plug on the side. I just turned it on, but I got both sides set to, I think, 39 degrees. But here's what's cool. This size, we really got this thing for wild game, but it's a perfect size. We got some white chicken chili on this side. And if you go to Costco, the Costco chicken pot pie fits perfectly on that side. But the whole goal is we got about 3 hours drive time right now to get to the hunting property. Hopefully we can shoot a deer and quarter it up and get this thing in there. If you guys are interested in this, I'll put a link down below, and I do actually have a discount code for this as well. This connector in the corner was really awesome because we had the IceCo cooler attached, and just a very, very cool option. I like having the lighting in here, especially when you are it's dark out and you got hunting stuff in there, so that worked really good. All right, so running premium fuel, I just reset the fuel economy. By the end of this trip, we should be near 1,000 miles on the truck. I'm glad that I had the truck shipped up from Mark Dodge, because I'd be closing up on 2,500 miles in just a few weeks of ownership on this thing. And I've got a video, guys, coming here soon, gonna be explaining the whole virtual process of buying through Mark Dodge, just how the shipping and everything worked. But in a nutshell, it's easy. I've never done this on a new vehicle before. This was a first for me as well. And by the way, guys, I'm not paid by Mark Dodge. I don't get $1 from these guys. I don't get advertising dollars. I'm just sharing with you guys my experience and how cool I think it is. And it's easy. And as far as distance for me, being 1,300 miles away from the dealership and being able to get my vehicle basically in 2 days, phenomenal. Anyhow, on the truck, so what do I think about it? The good is this Hurricane engine is phenomenal. I freaking love it. It's not much different that I can tell than my 2025. The engine calibration, as far as if you have an RHO, you'll notice when the engine is cold, it has like a high idle up for the first like 15-20 seconds. Just so you guys know why that does that. That's very common in a lot of vehicles, as far as that helps the engine meet emissions quicker. So they idle the engine up, get a lot of heat in the exhaust, catalytic converter warms up, and then the engine kind of calms down. And the Hurricane definitely does it. Engine calibration, I don't notice anything less smooth. Trans calibration feels identical to my 2025. This transmission in this thing is phenomenal. The 8HP 75, best in class. There is not a better transmission available in the 1500 segment, in my opinion, today. It's smooth. You don't get any weird shifting behaviors. I really like it. Performance is good. It's got a great track record. It'll be interesting with the new transmission coming around the corner. I think it's called the 880RE. It'll be real interesting to see how does that transmission compare to the outgoing 8HP 75. So transmission's great. The Hurricane engine's great. Fuel economy, good. If you guys watch, you probably watch TRD John. He just did a quick video, and this guy got like 18 miles per gallon in his RHO. That's phenomenal. A truck with 35-inch tires, off-road suspension, weighs 6,500 pounds. To get that kind of fuel economy is incredible. So I think the efficiency of this thing is good. We're going down the road right now, 70 miles an hour, and you can pick up on the road noise. The only road noise is the tires. I don't hear any wind noise. I don't really hear anything else, and that will be my first gripe. These tires are not bad, but they're not great. They Right now I've got a little, this is the first thing I've noticed, I've got a little bit of a random vibration. I've got to get it into the dealer. I'm assuming it's a tire issue because I can feel it in the steering wheel. And it's weird because it only does it sometimes in some roads. So I got to figure out how to turn this on and off, because that's what these dealers like. Like right now, I'm on a brand new paved roads. By the way, guys, how sweet is this? I am hands-free. I'm going around a corner right now, hands-free, and I'm feeling a little vibration, a little bit in my butt. Not a ton, but it's enough that it shouldn't be there. So I got to get into the dealership and see, is the tire out of balance? Is there a tire that's bad? I'm not sure, but I'll have them do that. The interior of this thing, it's just phenomenal. I mean, I don't know how anybody could not love the interior of the new Ram 1500. I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, the fit and finish, it's just a beautiful interior. It's very comfortable. All the ergos for all the buttons on the steering wheel, on the sides of the doors, everything is just in the right place, and that's what I like about it. The heads-up display, the fact that this works right now with polarized sunglasses, I think is phenomenal. The rear view mirror being digital, I didn't like that at first, but now I've come to actually really like it a lot. This Uconnect system is temperamental. Here's what I mean. Today it's working great, and I was hoping it would be for this video because number one, I got a long road ahead of me, and if my vehicle could not connect to my phone, I was going to be pretty annoyed, but that's happened a lot of times on my 25 RHO. Here's my theory on this. My theory on this is if you have an iPhone and your phone needs an update, if your phone gets updated to the latest revision of software, if your vehicle is not connected to the Wi-Fi at your home, there's some sort of, must be some over-the-air update that Apple also sends to the car manufacturers. And I can't prove this. This is just my speculation, because when my vehicle is connected to the Wi-Fi and it's sitting in the garage, I won't have connectivity issues the next day. But I did have an issue a few days ago, and I originally shot this video and I wasn't happy with a few things, but I couldn't get the phone to connect to the Apple CarPlay. Tried everything. I deleted the phone. It wouldn't work. Well, I found my phone had an update that needed to be done. I did the update on my phone that night. I went in my truck the next day, worked flawless. Similar thing happened on a trip we did over the summer with the 25 RHO. We got an over-the-air update while we were on a trip. The truck was not connected at a cabin we were staying at, and we couldn't get the Apple CarPlay to work. The whole trip home, we couldn't get the Bluetooth, and that was pretty annoying. To be fair, it's very annoying. I'd like to know what that is. I'd be curious if you guys have seen anything like this. I've had issues with connectivity in almost every single brand vehicle, so I'm not surprised anymore. And it's like Apple makes a pretty reliable product, so I don't think it's the phone, but I'd be curious to know your guys' thoughts on this. This whole system here is very capable, and I don't know if I'd call it complicated, but a little bit. Some people probably wouldn't care for it. I think it's a pretty awesome system. There's so many features and adjustability and things you can do in this. It's just wild. The things I'm going to be looking at that I find interesting, this has the performance pages. And in the performance pages, you can show the horsepower and you can show torque and all your just different configurations. But what's interesting about it is when you compare the horsepower numbers on this screen versus on your display up here, I'm getting a different number, and I find that very interesting. And I'm going to show you guys what I mean here. Okay, so I'm going to try to be a consistent speed and horsepower. You can see we've got, let's see, about 30 horsepower, 132 torque, 52 horsepower, 162 torque. Now I'm over here, 39 horsepower, 164 torque. Look at this number. The horsepower is consistently off by like 20%. So I'm not sure what the deal is. I figured that the horsepower numbers would be fed into this system, would also feed this display, but I'm seeing a different horsepower number from this display to this display. Not a big deal, but it is kind of interesting. The torque number is spot on. I'm comparing the two right now. They're both identical, but the horsepower here says 62 horse and 80 horse here. Why am I sharing this? I read some people saying when they went to their propulsion and their display here, there's a graph, that their graph would never show more than 390 horsepower, where the truck is supposed to be 540 horsepower, right? But it never shows up at more than 390. Well, guess what? I noticed the exact same thing with my truck. The other day, we were doing a video and a wide open throttle pull, and I could not get more than like 390 to 410 horsepower on this display. The torque was accurate, but this would show I could hit over 500 horsepower. So it's got to clearly be some sort of like communication between the different gauge clusters. Not a big deal. We're going to be doing a performance video here soon, just kind of showing 0 to 60s and some of the stuff. That's for a separate video. But I do find that interesting, and I'd be curious to see if you guys are seeing that too. It's just got to be some sort of software thing. Also, on the topic of this system, from 25 to 26, I don't notice any difference as far as how this performs and the page menus or anything like that. It looks identical. It works good. Stereo system in this thing is great. This obviously sound system, all the speakers sound good. It's loud and it's pretty clean. It's not as good as our Navigator, but man, it still sounds way better than our Bronco Raptor or F-150 Raptor. The exhaust note, going down the road right now at 70 miles an hour, it is no more difference in sound than a standard Bighorn Ram going down the road. Now, if you step into it, I'll show you. It's a little bit louder. It's nothing crazy, but it sounds better than like a standard Ram pickup truck. And I like the little gurgle in between the shifts. That sounds kind of cool. But it's nice if you do a lot of road trips. Man, this is like a perfect system for being chill going down the road. So I like that. The headlights, all the cool little lighting on the exterior of the truck, I think it's phenomenal. The little Ram badge outside. I think this truck looks awesome. I love the big bubbly body. I think that looks so cool. It so reminds me of the Gen 1 Ford F-150 Raptor. That was a favorite truck of mine of the Raptor series because you kept that big Baja body. Ram's got it. But it's just the little things, man. I feel like Ram crushes it. Like all the ergos in the interior, the storage up above, you know, you got to plug up above. So if you want to put backup cameras, dash cams, just all the buttons are laid out nice. You can see these easily. They're not hard to get to. I've not heard of any squeaks or rattles yet. Hopefully you shouldn't have it right from the sunroofs. I'm not a big fan, if you guys watch the channel, of panoramic sunroofs. Fortunately, I've not had a problem with a Ram panoramic sunroof yet, but I have had issues with my F-150, Expedition, and Navigator sunroofs, the panoramic sunroofs. I've had them leak, I've had them squeak, I've had them rattle, I've had them break. I like the presence of this. This is cool. The kids like it. The family likes it. It, you know, brings more light in. But at the end of the day, I don't want issues. And those things gave me a lot of issues. If I ordered another Raptor, I probably would not order it with a sunroof because it's giving me more problem than what it's worth. Plus, you get a little bit more headroom with some of the other vehicles once you get rid of the sunroof. The storage and just the areas to keep things in these Ram trucks is awesome. Best in class, no question. They do a great job in the storage. All right, so what are the things I don't care for? Well, I got to get this vibration thing figured out. This connectivity thing can be a little interesting. I also still wish that this engine had a dipstick. It's not a big deal that it doesn't to me, but I know some people that's a big deal. What I wonder is, what if that sensor fails? It'd be kind of nice if you had a backup. Like, could they just add a dipstick with the oil level sensor? Because what happens when that sensor fails? How does it default your oil height? Does it default to, hey, it's low, change the oil? Or what does it do? What is the failure mode? No one's talked about this yet. I'd like to know, when this sensor fails, what happens to it? Are you supposed to like immediately pull off the road? Because could you imagine if you're on a big trip and the sensor fails, but you don't have an issue with oil height in the engine, but the sensor fails, dude, that'd be a pretty big mess if it tells you to pull off the side of the road. Massaging seats, by the way, I'm gonna turn those bad boys on. They're awesome. They work better in our Navigator. They go higher in the back. They protrude a little more in the seat. And I like that it has the massaging in the seat panel as well. Even your most premium full-size SUVs right now, by Lincoln and Cadillac, they don't have massaging seat, only back, not the butt, on the new Navigator and Escalades. I'm glad to see that the Ram truck has that feature, even in a truck at this price, not a $125,000 vehicle. Towing performance. I got a video for towing we just did, but what I will tell you is the fuel economy towing with this Hurricane has been awesome. It continues to impress me for fuel economy towing. For my needs so far, this has been one of the best fuel economy towing V8 engines, that I've towed with. Better than any other boosted engine for fuel economy and performance, and the 8-speed trans with it is not shifting all over the place. I like that. Trans temp's good. The one thing I will tell you is boosted engines, specifically 6 cylinders and 4 cylinders, do not have great engine braking, almost non-existent. And this is a little bit less, from my experience, a little bit less engine braking than the EcoBoost and the Ford engines. But to be fair, they both have such little engine braking. It's kind of like comparing such a low nominal number. It doesn't matter. They're not great. You go take a V8 or a diesel engine, they produce actually decent engine braking. These engines don't provide much engine braking. The stability on this thing, towing, I've said this before on my last truck, and it's no different with the 26. The stability when towing with this RHO is phenomenal. And I don't know if it's because it's a wider truck than a regular Ram 1500, or is it, oh, by the way, I gotta just show off and do the hands-free, so cool. Or is it that this truck weighs like 600-700 pounds more than some of the competitive trucks, so it gives it more force on the road? Is it the Bilstein shocks, where they're dampened a little bit stiffer than, say, a Fox shock, so it gives you a little bit more stability? Is it the all-wheel drive system? This truck is full-time all-wheel drive. Does that provide a little bit of pull on that front axle to get you going down the road? Or is it running, because it's running a Dana 60 rear axle, that's a very heavy axle, very stiff, very rigid. It's probably the most heavy-duty rear axle in the half-ton truck segment, because it's basically out of a Ram 2500. Is it because of that extra weight over the rear end makes it more stable? But I don't know what it is. This truck tows awesome. Stability's good. One caveat, the thing sags. And you see in this video, it will sag, even with only 500-600 pounds of tongue weight on the trailer. But there is a fix to that. There's a few fixes. There's the Airlift 5000 system that just launched. If you're interested in that product, I've got a link down below, and we got a discount code for that. Or there's the Timber Grove airbag setup. Two completely different style of airbag kits, but it's great that there's two options in the market for these trucks. The hands-free, as you guys can see right now, I'm going down the road, 70 miles an hour. Just a phenomenal system. Works good. Works your turn-to-turn signal. It's just phenomenal. I really like the system. I haven't noticed anything issues as far as not being centered going down the road. It seems to be pretty centered. No issues there. Going around corners, working good. I know that some people here, I'm gonna hit my turn signal, let's see what it does. Hands off the steering wheel, lane turned, centered in that lane, turn your turn signal off, game over. Just amazing. How do you not love that? Especially when you're doing like a 400-mile road trip like we're doing right now. Amazing. I know you guys have heard me say this a million times, but one of the other favorite features of this truck is the value. I know this might shock a lot of people, but in today's market, with the prices of everything available in the market, with some dealers that are very aggressive on the pricing of these RHOs, the value, what you get for the dollar, I think this is best in class. Because some of these dealers are coming in at $8,000 to $13,000 under MSRP. Then you add in the manufacturer's already aggressive on price. man, this is a heck of a value. And for that, it's what makes it, I think, a really good value truck. It's hard to beat a 540 horsepower Hurricane engine truck with a long travel suspension, this bougie interior with hands-free driving, massaging seats, great fit and finish, a great transmission. It's hard to complain. That's for me at least. We'll see how this thing holds up, 20,000 miles down the road. The other thing I got my eye on right now is there's been a few people reporting on some forums and Facebook pages about, I'm going to call it a forming split. It's when there's a stamping process, when they stamp the body or a product, you press material flows into shape, but sometimes if you stress the material enough, you can actually get a split. They can call them forming splits during a stamping process. One individual claims they've got a pickup truck, a Ram RHO, that has a forming split on the body. I'm watching this because I'm curious to see what comes of this. I went underneath my truck and saw the exact same mark in the exact same location and started looking at it, investigating it. In my truck, it's not a forming split. It's actually where there's an adhesive used where they assemble the bodies, and when they assemble the bodies, probably the adhesive gun they use, when it draws away, it leaves a little string of adhesive. And it looks like a black hair, but it can also look like a crack. I took a screwdriver to mine, and mine was not a crack. So then I'm like, well, this is kind of interesting. I talked to Car Guy online. He just got a 26 Rebel. I think he might even make a video of this. But his truck didn't have a crack in his either. He had the exact same string in the exact same spot, and it's an adhesive. Then I went to a local dealership, and I crawled under 15 different Ram 1500s, and not one of them had this crack. It's this adhesive black line that looks like a hair, but it could also look like a crack. I'm not saying that someone didn't see a crack, but none of the ones I've seen do. They're all this adhesive material. But it'll be kind of interesting to see how that all unfolds. Next thing, what I'm excited about, what's coming soon, guys, and I won't spoil the surprise, but there's about 4 products coming for these trucks. You're going to be able to maintain your warranty. You're going to be able to increase the performance. I'm not going to say any more. It's coming soon, but there's going to be some awesome stuff coming here really shortly for the Ram RHO and the high output Hurricane owners. The other thing is, if you have ever owned a Cummins or an inline 6 engine, I've only owned, well, now 2 inline 6-cylinder gas engines, 2 Hurricanes and a Cummins. I don't know how to explain this. These things have a certain manner of how they rev up and how they shift, specifically the shifting from first to second and second to third. And I don't know if this is a Ram strategy with their transmission or if it's the inherent nature of an inline 6-cylinder, but the second to third shift on this engine is different than any engine I've had before. It's like it has torque converter lockup at a lower RPM. And I actually like it because it uses the engine to bear down, and instead of having a loose torque converter to rev up the RPMs and make power, it actually goes like a torque converter lock, and you could feel it, and you could just watch your boost gauge go up, and you can feel the engine bear down and build boost and accelerate. I kind of like it because it reminds me of my Cummins, because my Cummins did the exact same thing. The drive modes seem to work good. If there was another thing I wish Ram would change, I wish there was the ability to put this truck in 2-wheel drive. It's a thing that I would like. You get, number one, you get better fuel economy. Number two, you'd put less wear and tear on your differentials and half shafts over time. And number three, I always think, imagine you get into an off-road scenario where you break a front CV shaft off-road. And you break that CV shaft off-road, and now you got to get back out. Well, you could get towed out of this scenario because your front four-wheel drive is going to be inoperable at that point. But with an all-wheel drive system, imagine a half shaft just spinning around, just flopping around in there. Whereas if you could put the truck in 2-wheel drive, you could fully disconnect this entire front axle, and then you could drive all the way home, even with broken half shafts up front. You could turn it off. Now, I've never ran into that scenario, and maybe some of you guys have. If you have, leave your comments. I'd love to know if that makes sense. But it's one thing that's went through my mind. We go off-road, and I've wondered, man, it'd be nice if you could disconnect that half shaft from that. maybe Ram made that front half shaft so beefy, we'll never even have to worry about one of those breaking. But just a thought. By the end of this video, we're gonna be crossing 1,000 miles on this truck. I'll be curious to see what we get for fuel economy. Right now, we're averaging 13.4. Actually, I didn't reset the main fuel economy. I'll be curious to see what I get for fuel economy on my instantaneous. But right now, we are actually averaging 13.4 miles per gallon on this tank over the 32 miles. And we are cruising at good highway speeds. That's what I'll tell you. But anyhow, guys, I'll check back in here in a few minutes. What modifications I've made so far to the 2026 Ram RHO. And I will put a link for full installs of a few of these below, so if you guys want to kind of dive into it, but I'll just spend a few seconds to show you some things I think are good upgrades worth considering. Okay, right off the bat, the first thing I think these trucks need is an American flag, right? Support America. I look forever. This is kind of like my little thing I like doing on Raptors, my Bronco, and I was trying to figure out where I want to put it. I originally put it up there. It's cheap, it looks cool. It definitely works really well with the color of this truck. But these running boards work really good for a few reasons. Number one, if you go off-road, you get a little bit of protection. Number two, rock protection on the rocker panels. That's why I do it. Number three, these are the Rock Blocks standard running mud flap. I've got it on the front and the rear. And I've also got a video showing install. I'll put a link down below of both of these. And I'll show you how the size of these ones compare to the XL version. I will switch out these fronts to the XL version here soon for wintertime. Next thing, this is the tonneau Pro low profile tonneau cover. I didn't want to talk about this quite yet because I want to put about 1,000 miles on it or so. And so far I'm pretty impressed. It seems to have good coverage and has some good weatherproof resistance on all the corners. That works well, and it works with the drop down tailgate. Next mod, right here. Guys, two things about this are awesome. Number one, I'm happy with the Viofo dash cam, but what I'm more happy about is how it directly wires. I'll put the information down below, but this has a donger converter that basically takes power from the rear mirror and converts it over, so I don't have to have wiring hanging anywhere. Very cool. Got a full video showing how to do that, but I will put a link down below for that. Show you guys how many miles I got on this thing. So we just crossed 1,000 miles. You can see the fuel economy, not great right now, but it's because we've been doing a lot of off-roading and hunting. What was the one thing I really like about the 26 versus the 25? Right here, guys, we got a boost gauge here. I think that's super cool. Here's some other things I find interesting about these trucks that's not different than the 25 versus the 26. Notice the color of this display right now. The background, notice it's black. Now watch, I'm gonna hit this and it goes white. Now I'm gonna go back to the screen. See how it's kind of blacked out? It's in like the night mode right now, and I'm not entirely sure. I don't mind it. I gotta go in and figure out what the settings are. I played with some of the stuff up top. We got 1,000 miles on this thing. There was, I hate to say this, guys, there was, you know, we had blood and mud all over from deer hunting. Everything's holding up really good. Storage, second row, car seats, tons of room. We did do some 0 to 60s. On some private property. We had actually access to an area where we could actually get a 1/4 mile run on some asphalt, which is pretty awesome. I was impressed at what the 0 to 60 did in this, and I even had my son in the back seat of this truck, and we were able to get a 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds. We're going to confirm that with the Dragy here soon and see how accurate the factory Dragy is, or the factory system is versus the Dragy. Ride quality, everything is awesome on this thing. I've not noticed any issue with the undercarriage. Tailgate up and down works really well from this system here, as well as from the key fob. See if there's any blood in here. Nope, thankfully not, but this thing was really gross. We already got some scratches here. Also, we did get this thing off-road a little bit in a cornfield. Thought I really damaged with a bunch of scratches in the skid plate, but fortunately, it looks like most of them have cleaned up. We got a few here, nothing, no big deal. Not like we're in the rocks or anything. You can see we got a pretty good mark on that right there. But that's what this truck's used for. If you're not using a truck like this off-road, that's kind of a sad thing. You should definitely get the opportunity to do it. 13.7 miles per gallon, computer, first fill up on a long 400 mile setup versus computer 13.7, hand calculated 13.0, not terrible. We are running 93 octane right now. Costco's got the best deal on that at the moment. The other thing, the Uconnectivity, hit or miss, to be fair. It's not my favorite system in the aspect of, I wish there was more simple things to do. As an example, I wish there was one button I could hit and turn off all the heated seats, all the heated steering wheel. I know you can do the Ram Connect and you can do it by voice, but it'd be nice just to have one button for that. It is a little laggy, not a huge deal, but it does have some lag here and there. It was awesome getting the opportunity to drive my Gen 3 Raptor, which I have not had my 21 Raptor in about 2 years now, I think. Yeah, about 2 years. I got a chance to drive that truck, and a full testament to Ford, man, that truck is in great shape for 67,000 miles on it, not one issue other than a battery replacement at about 10,000 miles. That truck has been awesome. That truck, comparing that versus this, here's what I will tell you if you're a Gen 3 guy. The seats in the Gen 3 are very soft, especially the 21, very comfortable. The exhaust on that truck, I think, sounds really awesome out of the box. I really dig that. I'm a bigger fan of the interior of this truck and the performance. I let my cousin, who he bought the truck from me, drive the RHO to compare, and he's like, dude, this thing feels a lot stronger than my Gen 3 Raptor. With that being said, how's this truck gonna be at 67,000 miles versus that one? It still had the original tires, which is mind-boggling, the amount of off-roading we've done. They're dry rotted, they're shot, they need replaced, but he still had the original tires. So far, 1,000 miles in, I would have to tell you guys, I'm impressed. I don't see a lot of different from the 2025 RHO, and I know some people are gonna say, well, no crap, what would change? What I was wondering was, would they have fixed or addressed some of the lagginess in the infotainment? I don't see that yet. Maybe that will change, and I'd welcome that. The other thing is the engine valve train noise sounds identical. Just the overall looks of this truck, I think it's phenomenal. We're gonna get underneath this thing soon, and I'm gonna go over and look at winter protection. What are some things we can do for additional wintertime protection as far as undercarriage and things like that? But you can kind of see it's holding up, no leaks, no squeaks, no rattles. I do want to see little spots like that. I'm going to clean up the frame and get that all ready. And then some of the other things, it's like some of these wire harnesses facing forward in the inclement weather we go in. I'm kind of going to start looking to see if there's ways to make something to protect some of that area a little bit better for long term. I'm sure it was designed to be part of that, but I'd like to see a little bit more protection in that area. The other thing we're gonna look at in the future is doing something with some PPF in some certain areas for extra coverage. Yeah, so really nothing crazy, guys, to report. I mean, the truck is performing awesome. We're gonna rack up 3,000 to 4,000 miles real quick. We're gonna be hooking up trailers and doing more towing here soon. We got a towing video, look down below. And guys, by the way, what do you think of the new merch? We'll have some more information on that soon. If you guys are interested in buying any of that, we'll put a link down below where you can actually get some of the different stuff. Hey guys, hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for watching.